The cheetah. The predator whose speed in hunting prey has become a legend. Acceleration is up to 45 miles an hour in 2 seconds. Top speed is over 70. Seen in ultra-slow motion, there's a powerful and mesmerizing beauty about the deadly sprint. Millions of years of hunting gazelle have made the cheetah the fastest thing on 4 legs. It looks so simple. The cheetah appears to have come up with the ideal solution for an easy life, just involving the occasional sprint whenever a gazelle is required for a meal. But this picture is nowhere near the truth. For a start, gazelle run nearly as fast, and surprisingly, the predator lacks endurance and often just gives up. Times can be hard, especially for a cheetah with a family of cubs. And even when it does kill, it is regularly robbed of its hard-earned meal by bigger cats like lion and leopard. Large predators like this hyena constantly menace the cheetah's family life too, by killing cubs. Cheetah are shy and nervous, the underdogs, you might say, of large predator society. This is the story of a year in the life of one particular female cheetah. Like all cheetah, this elegant individual leads a highly hazardous and chancy existence on the African savanna. A hazardous existence has been the lot of cheetah ever since man began to populate the world. Cheetah once lived over much of Africa and Asia, but man has progressively taken the cheetah's grassland habitat for his crops and livestock. The cheetah is now extinct in Asia, except for a possible handful in Iran. In Africa, much the same thing has happened. Southwest and East Africa hold a total population of about 10,000 cheetah, just half the number there were 10 years ago. One of the problems is that one cheetah needs a lot of country for survival. In this plains area of Kenya, for example, there is only one adult cheetah to roughly 60 square miles. Cheetah country is the open plains and thin savanna woodland. It's ideal country for prey, but also for other, competing predators. The struggle for survival begins right at the start of life. The female with 5 newborn cubs. Survival cameraman Bob Campbell got to know her well, and he gave her a name, Mara, after the Mara River that flows through the area. Mara's cubs are just 18 hours old. At this stage, they're blind, 8-ounce bundles of fur. Cheetah have large litters, with at least 4 cubs as a rule, and 8 at maximum. This is to ensure against almost inevitable losses, particularly now, when the cubs are so helpless. The cubs have only Mara to protect them. The male cheetah plays no part in family life after mating. One parent is seldom effective against large predators like lion, leopard, or hyena, who kill half the cubs born, which reduces potential competition for prey. Hyena account for many cubs. Unlike the cheetah, they hunt mainly at night. Once danger is past, Mara moves her cubs, because the sun has come round onto the lair. Cheetah don't like heat, and full sunlight makes the cubs highly conspicuous from above to birds of prey like martial eagles and vultures. So taking one cub with her, Mara goes in search of a new hiding place, where she can leave them all in safety while she goes off to hunt. The lair she chooses is well concealed, in the seclusion of a dry lugger, a hollow where water collects in the wet season. Then she brings the others. When all 5 cubs seem settled, Mara leaves the lair. The 90-day pregnancy has depleted her reserves. As she prepares to hunt, let's look to see just what it is that makes her and her kind the fastest animals on 4 legs. The cheetah measures 7 feet from nose to tail. That's about the same length as a leopard, with which the cheetah is sometimes confused. Leopards, like this one, live in the deep bush and rocky areas of Mara's hunting range. A leopard weighs about 160 pounds. The cheetah is at least 40 pounds lighter. Its body has been stripped down to the bare minimum to make it the ultimate lightweight racing machine. Compared to the solid savagery of a leopard's head, the cheetah's is delicate, almost brittle. Skull, teeth and jaws have been reduced to save weight. High-speed racing requires specialist equipment. The cheetah's claws are just that. Unlike all other cats, the claws have no sheaths and are always extended. These dog-like claws give Mara grip during her devastating sprint, here seen in slowed-up action. Each stride of those slender, rangy legs is up to 23 feet. Watch the way the back legs straddle the forelegs to increase the stretch of the stride. As she locks onto target, the incredibly flexible back compresses and extends like a spring. This adds another 5 miles an hour to the top speed. All these design features combine to give the phenomenal acceleration. After each kill, Mara returns to her family. At 6 weeks, the cubs are highly agile and have left the lair. Sadly, disaster has struck already. Only 3 of the 5 cubs are alive. 2 have been killed, probably by a lion or a hyena. Each of the remaining cubs has a soft, bluish-grey mane of hair called a mantle. Cubs have this mantle for the first 3 months of life. As the weeks go by, Mara hunts further afield. Her full hunting range is 70 square miles of savanna. The cubs are close behind. They keep out of sight instinctively while she's stalking. They're 12 weeks old now, growing fast, and losing their grey mantles. A herd of impala graze unaware. But a watchful topi has spotted the danger and snorts the alarm. Mara moves on in. At least half the time the prey escapes. Anything over 300 yards totally exhausts a cheetah, and it gives up quickly if things look difficult. The cubs are hungry. It's 3 or 4 days since their last meal, and Mara is anxious to make a kill. But as she's waiting to execute the perfect ambush, a hyena appears on the scene. The wildebeest drives it away, only to run right into trouble. Threatened by the hyena, Mara abandons her attack completely. In the confusion, the wildebeest grabs its chance of a rapid exit. It's not in any hyena's nature to let the victim escape, and it sets off in pursuit, while Mara slowly recovers her nerve and her breath. She's been lucky. Cheetah can get injured in confrontations with hyena and are then unable to hunt. In the meantime, the cubs are once again left hungry, but wildebeest will soon be migrating over the family's hunting grounds. Now 4 months old, the cheetah cubs are nearly half grown, but they're still heavily dependent on their mother Mara. Like all young cats, they're boisterously playful, and it's often their undoing. As Mara closes in on her quarry, the cubs run right towards the prey in full view. Mara is just close enough to the panicking wildebeest. The victim is one of hundreds of thousands of wildebeest that migrate in hordes every year from the Serengeti plains further south. The cubs are quickly in on the kill, though they're still not quite sure how to start. This yearling wildebeest weighs about 160 pounds, a large prey animal for a cheetah. Mara usually goes for animals lighter than her own 100 pounds, small impala and Thompson's and Grant's gazelle. Wildebeest are an unusual bonus. She drags the carcass close to the bushes to conceal it. Cheetahs seldom defend their kills and frequently get robbed within minutes. Sharp eyes in the sky soon spot the meal. The chase has totally exhausted the family. Panting helps them cool off. The close-knit family love to lick each other clean. One bold little cub is highly reluctant to let the vultures in on the kill, even though the fab is finished. "50 hungry vultures are rather a lot to cope with single-handed. Cheetah are sensitive to disturbance and really do find a solid mass of vultures intimidating, to the extent that they will completely abandon a kill. Fortunately, the family got enough of this one to satisfy their hunger, but it's not always the case. "4 months have passed, and the cubs are now 2/3 grown. Like all young predators, they're mischievous and skittish. Rough and tumble is a part of the long task of becoming hunters. Watch the cubs tripping each other on the run. Later on, that cuff will be the deadly blow that downs the prey. At this stage, Mara provides the cubs with opportunities to kill. This is a young Thompson's gazelle, but as far as the well-fed cubs are concerned, the prey is just for play at the moment. The ruthless opportunism of an adult is something they have yet to learn. The young gazelle escapes by pure chance. Its cries have attracted a still more ruthless opportunist. Now it's the cheetah's turn to run. The cubs could be in jeopardy, and Mara knows it. She slinks off, cringing, ready at any moment to take off fast with the cubs. Fortunately, the lion's honor seems to be satisfied, and it lets them go on their way without further ado. Close by, 2 ram impala walk, unaware that one of their number has been marked down. Impala have been hunted by cheetah for thousands of years. There's been a sort of arms race, with each animal evolving to outrun the other. Nature never stands still. As a result, impala have developed to run almost as fast, and it's often their salvation. 70 miles an hour transforms a cheetah into a streak of spotted gold. She must have noticed a slight weakness about this impala. In some way, it wasn't as fit as the others. Natural selection is without mercy. Mara is her executioner. She glances round, hoping that the commotion hasn't attracted lion or hyena. Cheetah families feed amicably and fast, wolfing their food at a rate that looks as though it should give them violent indigestion. But they're adapted to it, for very good reasons. Time is always short. Vultures descending are part of the bush telegraph system that alerts all the scavengers lurking nearby. The cheetah family take the daylight robbery philosophically. They've no alternative. The roguish hyena is very pleased with his thievery. The carcass is almost intact. But for once, the tables are turned on him. He just can't cope with so many vultures, and they sense it. In the end, the hyena has expended a lot of energy with nothing much to show for it. This game of musical chairs is frequently enacted in predator society, and cheetah are almost always cast as the losers. Competition is something that the cheetah just have to allow for. This family seems to have coped pretty well to date. The cubs are nearly the same size as their mother and now acutely aware of everything going on the plains around them. Cheetah are not exclusively plains hunters. They hunt successfully in bush country too. It's a risky business. The grass hides spiny acacia bushes and holes made by aardvark and warthog. There's hardly a square foot without some tripwire or pitfall that may send a sprinting cheetah head over heels, no joke, at 50+ miles an hour. And injury almost certainly means a starving family. Mara calls her cubs to join her. The call helps hyena to locate the kill too. Mara stays silent, hoping that the cubs won't give the game away. And luckily, the hyena misses the kill altogether. Then she calls the cubs again. You'd hardly believe a cheetah would call with this almost bird-like chirp, but it carries for up to half a mile and is particularly effective in bush country. Two months later, the family is still together, but any day now Mara will leave the cubs and then start another family. When she's heavy with young, she'll have difficulty enough feeding herself. The cubs must hunt for themselves soon. The cubs are getting more independent and aren't so keen to share their food. A cub shows little interest in the Thompson's gazelle nervously keeping their distance. Once a herd of prey is alerted like this, there's small chance of a hunt, unless one stays behind. Almost always a male. Mara is onto it in a second. That cornering ability has to be seen in ultra-slow motion to be believed. Even now, Mara lets her family have first pick of the kill, while she keeps a lookout for trouble. The savannah still holds some surprises for the cubs. This bat-eared fox is most confusing. Especially when it does a vanishing act, something the cubs can't quite figure out. One day, the three cubs are suddenly alone. Mara has gone her own way. For the first few days, the cubs are listless and disoriented, and lose weight. Hunger soon brings their hunting instincts to the fore, and the pluckiest of them sets out in earnest. The chase is long. It really is a matter of who survives and who dies. The cloud of dust marks the beginning of adulthood. The cubs may stay together for up to a year, but cooperation doesn't seem to work for the cheetah. Each one will soon go solo and become the hunter of legendary speed. And they'll need every ounce of that speed. Set against the cheetah is the competition from other large predators. And then there is man, demanding more and more of the savannah for agriculture, to supply his increasing population. Let's hope that sufficient savannah grasslands can be kept for the cheetah, so that it will still be around to retain its title of the fastest thing on four legs.